Good evening. I would like to call to order the April 27th, 2015 Bellbrook City Council meeting. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Edwards is absent. Mr. Greenwood?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mrs. Middlestetter?
Here.
Mrs. Seeger-Lawson?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Schweller?
Here.
And Mayor Baird.
Here. May I have a motion to excuse Mr. Edwards this evening?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
A motion by Mr. Schweller to excuse Mr. Edwards, seconded by Mrs. Seeger-Lawson. Mr. Schweller?
Yes.
Mrs. Seeger-Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Greenwood?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. Middlestetter?
Yes.
And Mayor Baird.
Yes. Formal approval of the regular city council meeting minutes of April 13th, 2015. Does any member on council have any corrections or additions to the regular city council meeting minutes?
None, Mayor.
Seeing none, the minutes are approved as written. Mayor's announcements and special guests this evening. First, we have Jared Jakewish here, and I'm going to have Jared come up. Jared's with the Boy Scouts. Jared's have been working on a community entry sign project, and I think it's up Feedwire and Upper Bell. And Jared's going to tell us a little bit about that this evening. So come on up, right up here.
Well, thank you all for having me. I appreciate it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy hearing about this. It was very exciting. My name is Jared Jakewish, and I'm with Troop 56 in Beaver Creek, Ohio. So I really figured out about this to do it as my Eagle project when one of the Lion Club members, Greg Sparks, he figured out I was looking for a Eagle project. So he found me and told me about it, and I sounded interested. So so I just took it up and got into a little adventure. It was really exciting, and I learned a lot. So I'll just save you all the details and communication that went into getting everything figured out. But my first work day was when me and my dad went out to Mr. Sparks' property, and we built the frame for the sign. We needed it the next day, so we were kind of pushing it. But later, the Lions Club members went out and they built a rotary a couple days later, so that was very kind of them. Our first work day was on the 1st, and we had another on the 2nd, and then later on the 18th. We needed about 4 to 10 scouts at each project, so we had plenty of help. On the first day, we got the 2 holes dug for the sign, and we got the frame cut out as well, and the frame put into the 2 holes. On the second day, we had the concrete truck come out and pour it while it was raining, so that was interesting, finishing concrete and pouring rain, but it was exciting. And on the third day, we had to let the cement set to kind of let it harden, and then we came out on the 18th, about 2 weeks later, and put the rotary sign ups and the rest of the organization signs as well. So we're still actually waiting on a couple more metal signs from the organizations, and I'm in contact with them, so hopefully in the next 3 or so weeks we should have those all up on the sign. We're also waiting to have I'm not sure what it goes in the middle. It's Welcome to Bellbrook. So we're still waiting on that, but it will all come together soon, I'm sure. I have to thank a couple of the businesses and organizations that donated and really helped the project all kind of come together. Ernst Concrete actually donated all the concrete for the project, so that was very generous of them. Along with Sunbelt, who donated scaffolding for the whole day, free of charge, and that helped us more conveniently put the organizational signs up and drill them in safely as well. And I also have to thank the Lions Club. They were a huge help. They covered all the costs for the sign, including lumber, hardware, and other materials. So that was very kind of them. And I want to also thank them for giving me a great opportunity to help out the community and have a really great Eagle project. I learned a lot of skills along the way, and it was really great. So thank you.
Anyone on council have any questions for Jared?
Nicely done. Looks
I-
good.
Thank you.
I appreciate the sign. I mean, that's a lot of work involved.
Yeah, it was a lot of people helped pitching, so.
Yeah, Jared, we certainly, appreciate the sign and are very proud of you and your accomplishment as the Eagle
Thank you very
Scout
much.
project. I'm sure it's really close to your board of review and finishing up.
Yes, it's all.
Good
yes,
job.
It's coming
It's
close.
interesting that how much more complicated something is than it first appears, isn't it?
Yes. yes, definitely. I know what that means now. So.
Well, Jared, I think you did a great job both in your giving your presentation.
Oh, thank you very
And
much.
hopefully get a communication badge.
Oh, I definitely have that already.
And thanks for all the hard work, and also thanks to the Lions Club, Anders Concrete, and all the other ones you mentioned. This is the focal point of the cities are very important, and it's nice to see the nice Rotary signs there. I know we redid some of the other signs a year or so ago, and that was also an Eagle Scout project. And so thank you, and thank your troop, and great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on, this is not on the agenda this evening, but I do see Miss Ewing here this evening, Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, and I think she has a few things she would like to talk about tonight.
Yes. My name is Chris Ewing, 4155 Ridgetop Drive. We will be one of those that has the signs on the new wheels that are at each entrance to the city. So our chamber sign's already on. They already put that up. Also, when we do the community garage sale, we have a banner. When they redid these, they made it so the middle of those signs will hold a banner. So Sugar Maple Festival, Community Garage Sale, Lions Club, whenever there's an event going on in the town, the banners are made to the same size and they can hook right in the middle grommet. So that's kind of nice. They're all uniform and you'll be able to see those signs as we have different events. So that was a nice feature that they put on there, because otherwise you've got all the different signs and makes it a little bit more neater. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the city services for the Sugar Maple Festival. They did a tremendous job. The rain, everything that they had to do with all the orange, whatever you call those things. I mean, they did a great job, and I know everybody was thrilled. Friday was terrific. I wasn't there. Did your dog win?
Otis got second place in the costume competition.
Oh, okay. So Mira Barrett always has a dog that wins competitions in the dog show on Friday night. Anyway, Friday was great. Sunday was great. Saturday, as we all know, was a tough day for all of us at the festival. It was wet and cold, but all in all, the vendors were pleased, and I know that the city, like I said, they did a great job, and everybody was really happy about that. The Chamber of Commerce Community Garage Sale is coming up in a couple weeks, May 14th, 15th, and 16th. Because of the rain on Saturday, we did not get the normal sign-ups that we usually do, because people just didn't come to the festival. So if you still need to sign up, either call the office at 848-4930 or go to our website, bellbrooksugarcreekchamber.com, go under events, and then you can register your garage sale there. Make sure you put your name and what dates you're going to be open. So that is coming up. It's always a big event, so make sure you mark that so that if you don't have a garage sale, at least you can have the ability to go around and see where everybody has theirs. We will have sheets of paper at several of the businesses, as well as on our website. You can download, print it off of a printable sheet of paper that people can go around with. Also this year, we're working with Salvation Army, Goodwill, and one of the, I think the scout troop over in Centerville that does the big tent sale. That information will be on the piece of paper on the website, so that the day of Saturday, when you're done with your garage sale, you'll have the ability to take your items to these places. Very difficult to get a company to come out and go all the places that want their stuff picked up. So, but at least we will offer those to go. I think it's 1 to 3 on Saturday, that it will be at Dot's Salvation Army truck. So at least people can go and take their stuff. It's just nobody wants to come out and go to 100 garage sales to pick up stuff. So we've tried to work that out. But anyway, at least it's another option what to do with their stuff. The Greene County Legislative Breakfast is this Friday, and that's all legislators. Everybody will be at this one. This is at Greene County Career Center at 7:30 in the morning. If you are interested in attending, please let me know. I need to have the RSVPs in by tomorrow, and the phone number at the chamber is 848-4930. Another announcement, National Day of Prayer is May 7th, which is the first Thursday in May. That's at 9 o'clock at Bellhop, and normally we get city, township, we get fire, police, everybody that attends that. So that is on May 7th at Bellhop Cafe, kind of behind Valero. As you know, or many of you know, our founder of Open Arms Health Clinic passed away 2 weeks ago, Mary Ann Stone. And so in that same tone, we are determined to keep her her dream alive. So any way that we can, we're asking for volunteers, asking for donations. You can call over there at 848-2939 if you're interested in volunteering, if you have any medical experience or knowledge, or if you're good at running a vacuum. They need everything. So if you're interested in volunteering, please call 848-2939 and help us out over there so that can continue, because they do a great thing. They're actually going to open. They're open on Tuesday nights, and then they've now opened on Fridays for women only, for women's issues, and they're hoping to open another evening during the week. So they're getting enough people in there. They feel like there is a need. They average anywhere from 6 to 8 people on Tuesday, and they're only open 3 hours. So it's filling a need in the community, and it's a great thing, and we are bound and determined to keep it going. And the last thing is I'm here for Citizens for Sugar Creek Schools, and what we are doing is we have signs that we're putting in all the businesses in conjunction with chamber members and any other businesses, and we're asking that they put them in their windows. These are for all year. This is not a campaign sign. It says, "We support our schools." Football season, basketball season, baseball, whenever you want it, in any window. And so we're just asking that the city, if it would be appreciated if you would put it in one of your windows. And like I said, you can put it in, you can take it out, you put it in, you can take it out. It's something that it's generic enough that you can use it all year. So anyway, that's why I was here. So if you're interested in that, I can just leave one of those for your windows. So does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Chris this evening?
That's it.
Thank you, Chris.
Very nice job, Chris,
Thank you.
as usual. Moving on, that is all I have for mayor's announcements this evening. We do have 2 public hearings this evening. Ordinance number 2015-3, Mr. Schweller.
Yes, Mayor, ordinance 2015-3, an ordinance amending chapter 1226, erosion control, sediment abatement, and stormwater management of the Bellbrook Municipal Code to ensure compliance with state and national standards. Whereas the Bellbrook Municipal Code includes chapter 1226, erosion control, sediment abatement, and stormwater management, establishing standards, principles, and procedures for the regulation of construction and development-related earth-disturbing activities that cause or may cause adverse water source impacts resulting from stormwater runoff and soil erosion. And whereas Chapter 1226 has been reviewed by staff and amendments are needed to ensure compliance with state and national standards, now therefore the City of Bellbrook hereby ordains, Section 1, that the following amendments to Chapter 1226 of the Bellbrook Municipal Code be approved with deletion shown by brackets and strike-through, and addition shown by italics and underlined. I'm just going to read the top headings on this. This is about 5 or 6 pages of pretty detailed information. It'll be better read by the viewers online, I presume, versus me trying to read it to them out loud here. The first change is to section 1226.03, illicit discharge detection elimination, and it amends section D, or paragraph D, procedure for complaints of illicit discharges. The next change is section 1226.07. Again, section D, internal inspections of construction sites. Also section E, post-construction inspection and ownership and maintenance of stormwater structural facilities. And also section F, back on page 5, drainage easements. Section 2, that this ordinance shall be in force from and after the earliest period allowed by law. And Mark, this is something we're doing as kind of a routine update to be with federal and state standards, and anything you want to add to it. It's a lot of detailed analysis, I know.
Yes, we just, the EPA is on a regular basis changing their standards, so we review our regulations to make sure that they can comply with those standards and that they are the most current, and that's what this is. We do this on a at least every year, 1 to 2 years review to make sure it matches. We have compliance reporting that we have to turn into the EPA. They review our standards. They let us know if there's any shortcomings, and then we can modify it from there. So that's what this is meant to address.
So these aren't our standards that we're coming up with. We're just abiding by the law as told by us by the state.
Yes, we are
We have to
responsible to
update.
enforce the laws they've established, and this is our local way of establishing those here.
That we now all have to pay for, that we didn't have to. Does any member on council, this is a public hearing, so any member on council have any questions for our city manager?
At the last one, Mr. Greenwood asked about our ability to assess for repairs, and although that's not necessarily addressed in this, within the total regulations, we don't have that ability, but what we do make it very clear, it's the responsibility of the property owners, either whether that's the homeowners association, or if the homeowners association ceases to exist, the property owners where these actually exist, these detention ponds, infiltration basins, all those, it's their responsibility to maintain them. I think we've specifically not put language in there saying that we could assess for repairs, because that implies that we'll come in and make the repairs. And we don't want to get into that business at all. This is their responsibility. Ultimately, we have within here, there's enforcement, there's penalties that we can take them, they can be fined going through that process, but it's their responsibility to make sure that these basins are maintained to the level that they are. If they're not only do we have penalties, but then the EPA can get involved if it's a serious enough situation where they could penalize, and they could step in this case too. So there are some, if it's an emergency, we can step in and we can solve something for the short term to make sure that if there's something that's happening, we can do it, but not long-term maintenance of these are the responsibility of whoever owns that detention facility.
Yeah, I read about the emergency, that was.
Right, so we can do it if we have to, but we don't want to get into maintaining these over the long haul. There's just more and more of these, as new developments come, there's more and more. And as some of the developments that had these, when they're aging to the point that they're going to need maintenance, and it's a responsibility of mainly the homeowners association to take care of them.
Okay.
Any other input or questions on council?
Do we have any feedback from the citizens, Mark, on this thing, as far as any of the developers working in the town right now, or?
No, we've not, I mean, they know that they have to comply. These are regulations. They know what they have to do. I know Ryan Holmes, as they've developed the vineyards, has been very good to work with in terms of complying with this. Obviously, they're a national organization. They deal with a lot of communities, but they came in, they put in the erosion control measures that needed to be there. When we had that very significant rain event here a couple weeks ago on that Wednesday, they did have some issues up there, but they were back there within a couple days, fixed it, restored it to where it needed to be, worked with the property owners that it affected and things like that. So we've had no negative feedback.
Good.
And this is where the Stormwater 2, we eventually have now completely taken over, where in the past the EPA was more involved in the state, and now
Right, it's a
it's
local
all-
responsibility.
It would fall under what you call the unfunded mandate, where they've now passed the buck to us, but not pay us for it.
Yes.
So we're now the enforcers. So this is a public hearing. Any member out there like to come up? You got any questions or comments? Seeing none, I call this public hearing closed. Moving on, we have one more ordinance, 2015.
Do we need a
Nope,
motion?
I guess we do need a motion. Do I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2015-3?
Mayor, I'd like to move for the adoption of ordinance 2015-3.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Schweller to adopt ordinance number 2015-3, amending chapter 1226, erosion control, sediment abatement, and stormwater management of the Bellbrook Municipal Code to ensure compliance with state and national standards. Seconded by Mr. Martin. Mr. Schweller?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Greenwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Middlestetter,
Yes.
Mrs. Seeger Lawson,
Yes.
and Mayor Baird.
Yes. Ordinance number 2015-4, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 2015-4, an ordinance to approve the rezoning of 57, 65, 71, and 79 West Franklin Street from O1 Office Building District to B4 Central Business District. Whereas the Bellbrook Planning Board conducted a public hearing on March 24, 2015 concerning the request to rezone 57, 65, 71, and 79 West Franklin Street from O1 Office Building District to B4 Central Business District. And whereas the rezoning will make the zoning of these four properties consistent with other area properties. And whereas the Planning Board voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the rezoning request to City Council. Now therefore, the City of Bellbrook hereby ordains, Section 1, that the rezoning of 57, 65, 71, and 79 West Franklin Street from O1 Office Building District to B4 Central Business District is hereby approved. Section 2, that this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Schlagheck.
Yes, this is a rezoning that is actually initiated by the city. It involves four properties. I pulled up the map here, and as you can see, this is the downtown area, is the mainly in purple area here. And then these four parcels are these four that are under this O1 here that are in blue. The two parcels on the eastern end are actually the library and the parking lot for the library that are owned by the city. And then there's two residential houses just to the west of that, 71 and 79 East Franklin Street, or West Franklin Street, I'm sorry. What this does, these were rezoned many years ago to O1. What we found, and one of the 79 West Franklin just recently changed hands and was purchased by somebody else. It's in pretty poor shape right now. But under the O1 zoning, you cannot put a residential home back on that property. It would not be permitted. But under the B4 Central Business District, you can build either residential, you can put business uses. It opens up the variety of what they can put there. So it actually, as you can see, the rest of the downtown area is all zone B4 for the most part. And this will make it consistent with the rest of the downtown, and it will allow those other two property owners to do what they need to do. In fact, under the O1 zoning, if one of those homes had burned down, they would not have been able to rebuild it as a home. So this will allow them a little more flexibility going forward whenever they decide what to do with those properties.
Any questions on council? I think we've been through this a couple times. This is a public hearing, once again. So while we'll open it up to the audience, this is a public hearing. If anyone would like to come up, we'd have 5 minutes and need to pronounce your name and address. Seeing none?
Mark, any feedback on this at all from any
No.
citizens?
No. It's interesting, ever since this went to the planning board, when you rezone something, it gets people's attention. I've had numerous calls from people that just want to know what's going on. I think what people believe is that you're potentially taking away somebody's rights, or you're doing something, or you're zoning it something because there's something coming in there. In this case, that's not what we're actually trying to give them more ability to do things. But I've had numerous calls from people outside the community that just saw that it was rezoning and they want to know what was going on.
Interesting.
But no, I've not heard from anyone within the community with any questions or anything like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions on council? Seeing none, I'll call this public hearing closed. May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2015-4?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2015-4.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Mr. Martin to adopt ordinance number 2015-4, approving the rezoning of 57, 65, 71, and 79 West Franklin Street from O1 Office Building District to B4 Central Business District. Seconded by Mrs. Middlestetter. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. Middlestetter?
Yes.
Mr. Greenwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Seeger Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Schweller?
Yes.
And Mayor Baird.
Yes. Moving on to city manager's report. Mr. Schlagheck.
Yes, a couple items this evening. First, as Ms. Ewing said, the schools have a levy on the ballot next Tuesday, May 5th. It's a 5.5 mil replacement levy for the schools. Just in my quick research today, if you go onto the school's website, they have all the information. If you have any questions about how much this is going to cost or what the reasons are, anything like that, they have done a good job of having that information out there. So just to make sure everyone's aware that next Tuesday is an election day, a week from tomorrow, and to vote, get to voice your opinion there. At the last meeting, Mr. Greenwood requested a meeting of the safety committee to meet with the police and fire chief. We've scheduled that for prior to the next council meeting. So both Chief Nyhard and Chief Doherty will be here to that time. I haven't figured out the time yet. It'll depend on if there's other things that have to happen beforehand, but we'll probably have it just immediate before this, probably give about an hour or so beforehand. So on the safety committee is Mr. Greenwood, Mr. Martin, and Ms. Middlestetter are on the safety committee there. So we'll give you further notification on that. 2016 is the bicentennial for the city of Bellbrook. I know there's been some discussions with various groups around the city. I know the Historical Society has had some discussions. I had somebody come in and speak with me about potentially having banners for next year and things of that nature. I think what we probably need to do as the city here at some point is, I don't know who's organizing the bicentennial celebration, but I think we probably need to make sure that we're involved in that. No one has really approached us. I've heard from people saying that the city won't do anything, but no one's asked us to do anything. So I think if anyone, and I don't know if Elaine, if you're aware if the museum has talked about that at all.
I've heard some talk, but I don't know any specifics, so I'll have to investigate further.
But I think it's something that we'll definitely want to be involved in
Sure.
and understand what this is. I mean, they were talking about having banners all up and down 725, and we're not equipped to do that today, so obviously there's a cost and things of that nature. So those are things that we'll be talking about in the future, but I'll try to find out who's, if there is a committee, is there a committee that needs to be formed, or what we need to do to stay involved in the bicentennial planning for that next year.
Seems like there should be something that the city does. I mean, some kind of a
Yes.
celebration.
Right, and I think it's, yes,
To
I think we
recognize
need
that.
to do that, but we need to define when, how long, is it a
Right.
year-long celebration, is it something to
Weekend.
celebrate at Sugar Maple Festival, is it a different event, is it something that goes from Sugar Maple to the Lions
Lions Club.
Festival?
Right.
You know, what do we want to do, what's the time frame that we want to actually celebrate, or when do we want to do that? So those are the questions and that we need to know, and then what is that celebration going to look like? So. And then finally, again, to echo Ms. Ewing, Sugar Maple Festival, I'd like to thank, for those who don't know, there's a committee, a volunteer committee that does all the work for that. And there's a lot of volunteers that put a lot of time in the planning and that. I want to thank them for all their work. It's difficult when you have a day like Saturday to have all those contingencies and things like that, but yesterday was a beautiful day, had a great crowd and things like that. And then also thank all the city employees that are out there. The fire department is creating their own business by selling hazmat dogs. I think they try to do something there. And then
Create their
the
own-
police had their tent out yesterday that was donated by the Lions Club. So if you saw it, it was right out in front of our building here. They had the cardboard or a cutout that you get your picture taken. They had one of the SUVs out front that you could take a look at, things of that nature, which the police have never really had a presence like that at the Sugar Maple Festival. And then the service department are sort of the behind-the-scenes guys that take care of everything. They're the ones who put the barricades out. They make sure that everything is where it needs to be and everything. They pick up the trash. They do all that stuff. So without them, without all of them, it wouldn't go nearly as flawlessly as it does. But want to thank all of them for all their hard work.
Thank
That's
you,
all I
Mr. Loghat. Any questions for our city manager this evening? Seeing none, we will go, safety committee, meeting with the police chief and fire chief. Is that open to the other council members, or do we, probably not, because it's a committee meeting and you'd have quorum?
Yeah,
So I
we-
just wanted to let other members know which way.
We will advertise it. It is a public meeting, so it's open to anybody.
so we don't have to worry about
But the reason that committees are only 3 members is to
Yes.
avoid having a quorum of council where business can be taken care of, so.
You
So-
didn't answer the
No, I didn't.
So if we show up, we should sit in the audience?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
We will advertise it as a public meeting
Okay.
with the intent of there will be no business transpiring at it, so that if council wants to, other council members other than safety committee want to attend, they can attend, and we're not violating any sunshine laws or
All
anything
right,
like
that's what I
that.
just want to make sure of. All right. So no questions. Moving on to committee report service.
Only thing is, thank you to the service department for participating in the Sugar Maple Festival. I was down there actually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but obviously they were already closed by the time I got down there on Saturday. But they did a great job. That's all I have.
Safety,
None tonight, Mayor.
finance and audit.
Mayor, I missed the last meeting. I know we presented the financial information, I think, through the end of March. And it seems like we're still running very close to budget, so I think we've got a very accurate budget out there, and kudos to city staff for staying on top of it and making sure that if we overspend in one area, we kind of underspend someplace else to keep it a balance. But so far with revenue and expenses, we're very much on track with what our budget is. We spend a lot of time putting the budget together, so it's good to know it's a valid living document, and it seems like we track up against it well, so far so good for 2015.
Thank you, Mr. Schweller. Moving on, old business. Any members on council?
Community
Oh,
affairs.
I already marked you off. Sorry. Community affairs, Ms. Middlestetter.
I did want to bring up on the museum bricks, the Yellow Brick Road event, the ribbon cutting and celebration of that is this Sunday, May 2nd, at 2 p.m.
May 3rd.
I'm sorry, May
3rd.
3rd. May 3rd. Can't even read, can I? The service department did a beautiful job of installing the bricks, and they even stopped the erosion problem around the flower beds at the side door. So for that, we're very thankful. And I wanted to add just a little bit to Chris's talk about Mary Ann Stone. Not only was her vision that free health clinic, where they have treated over 100 people already in just the year that they've been open, but she and her husband Fred have been extremely busy in Bellbrook over the years and very giving of their time. Just a couple things: that Mary Ann was a member of the Bellbrook Fire Department Citizens Emergency Response Team. She was the health coordinator for the Bellbrook Sugar Creek Disaster Plan, a certified Red Cross Emergency Shelter Coordinator, a nurse for the Bellbrook Boy Scout Explorer Post, and she was also a Girl Scout leader and Girl Scout neighborhood chairman, on top of a whole lot of other things. So she and Fred do the ham radio, so they're very active with the parade, events in town, and emergency response capabilities. So they're just very, very involved people, and her passing was rather sudden, and she will be sorely missed.
Thank you. Anything else, Elaine?
Nope, that's it.
Now we will move on to old business. Any council members have any old business this evening? Any new business? Moving on to open discussion. Forrest.
It was a cold, wet ride in the convertible.
That it was.
But overall, the festival was really nice. I mean, Friday night, I live right in the middle of it, so it seemed like Friday night was just a huge crowd. It seemed that way. Of course, I didn't have any numbers, but a lot of families, kids. It was glad you're having a good time.
It was a good night.
And then Sunday the same way. But I enjoyed it, and I think everybody was there did. So.
Yep. Mr. Martin?
Just wanted to make mention of the school levy. I think that's, an important part of this community and the strong schools and the values. I work at a large business, and we have a lot of people that come in from out of town and move here, and we've brought up people from Houston. And, I've talked to probably 4 or 5 families in the last 6 months, and they're all looking to come here. They all want to live in the Bellbrook, Sugar Creek area because of the schools and reputation that it has. So I think, there is absolutely a tie to the desirability and the home values and the school system. So I hope people can keep that in mind and and look at it in the big picture in that regard.
Thank you. Ms. Middlestetter?
I'm just looking forward to seeing all the vegetables and flowers sprouting throughout the community because the Garden Club gave away hundreds of packages of seeds at their booth. And we actually had people coming to the booth on Sunday asking for the seeds. So word got out. So I'm looking forward to seeing all that beauty sprouting in Bellbrook this summer.
Great. Don?
Just one more comment about the festival. Both the police chief and the fire chief were out and about and talking to folks, and I spoke to both of them. And then having the SUV out in front of the city building, I thought that was a nice touch. My son got really excited about that, wanted to sit in the police car. And I said, "Here's the back seat is made of plastic. You don't ever want to sit back there." So hopefully that left an impression on him and others as they looked at the police cars. So it was nice. It was a nice touch.
Mr. Schweller?
Nothing for this evening, Mayor.
I'd just like to thank all of our city workers, including police, fire, service. Very wet day on Saturday. I did have my fire dog. I did not get the, I think I had the third alarm, which was still quite enough for me. Not the hazmat. Dog show was very successful. There were lots of dogs down there. That's always a neat event to do. So it was a great success, other than the very, very rainy day on Saturday. Sunday was very good. And Friday night I was going to eat Friday night, and I just didn't want to wait in the long lines. So it turned out, I think, very well. And thank you to the committee out there. Great job putting it together. That's all I have. We do open it up to the audience. If anyone would like to come up for open discussion, I see Louie.
Oh, and thank you to Louie for driving the bus.
We forgot Louie. Louie was our the transportation director for the Sugar Maple Festival, van captain, everything else included.
Shuttle steward.
Yeah. I'm Louis Schatzberg. I live at 4082 Ridgetop Drive. Like to reiterate everything that's already been said. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but there's a lot that goes into this festival that goes on. I didn't realize it. When I got involved, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago when Mary France asked me, "You want to be a shuttle driver?" "Sure, I'll drive," you know. Next thing I know, they needed somebody to organize the shuttles. "Oh, okay, I'll take that on." And then they said, "Oh, by the way, if you got that, you might as well take the directional signs to direct everybody down to the shuttle so they know where to pick them up at." So I put the signs out, and I know my voice is kind of bad, but it's because of the weather on Saturday. Because I taped the parade, got wet, ran in the shuttles, and I never dried out until the next day. So anyway, along with that, I want to thank the people that rode the shuttles. That was a big success because we had the parking lot in front of Bell Creek Elementary School Sunday was full, and they were parking over from it, which was great. I was a little concerned that I was going to leave somebody downtown that took the shuttle down. I wasn't going to get back in time, but as far as I know today, I have not left anybody downtown and had them mad at me to walk back. You know, so I'd like to thank the citizens that attended the Sugar Maple Festival because without them, without the people coming down, we wouldn't have a festival. So along with the committee and the fire and the police and all the other organizations that go into it, I want to thank them as well. So it was a great time. I enjoy it. The dog show was great. The dog show, when they started that, it was like, oh, we'll try a dog show. They thought maybe we'll get 3 or 4 dogs. And they never dreamed it would be going this long. Along with the recycling sculpture thing in the park. That took off. I mean, they said, okay, we'll try it. We'll try a recycling thing. And the next thing you know, the projects that these kids do and families do to put these things together was just phenomenal. It's like, whoa, where did you come up with those? You know, they just, you know. So there was a lot of neat things at the festival, not only to see and do and eat, you know. So I think, the organization that puts it on with all the help from everybody. I mean, there's a lot of people that do a lot of things behind the scenes, as Mark and you guys have said, especially the city workers. I mean, because they're the bees that are in the background that pick up the slack, with all the trash and stuff and keep our city pretty. So, thank you.
Thank you, Louie. Anyone else want to get up this evening? Mr. Jakewish, please just name and address.
Yes, Doug Jaquish, we are in the process of moving to 600 McBee, so I'm an out-of-towner, I'm a township guy though, so, but this is, I just wanted to emphasize my gratitude to the Lions Club and to Greg Sparks, who's my coworker up at Dayton Aerospace. But this was a very significant opportunity for us to kind of meet the community, both the township and now the city. And we didn't forget about you. We just had to wait till we got the right dates set up to come. And unfortunately, we're telling you about what happened, not so much what's going to happen. But Jared did a fantastic job. It's been an immersion for me as well into local citizenship, which 27 years in the Air Force. So I retired in July up here at Wright Pat, and we've been in the process over the last several months of moving into the property up at McBee, and it's just been a great introduction to the community. For 27 years, I was a out-of-state resident of Pennsylvania, so it's a bit of a transformation for me to become an Ohioan, but we're doing that graciously and gracefully as we can, and I'm learning to root for the Buckeyes and all that. But
There you go.
Good
still have
move.
the Nittany Lions running through my blood, so sorry about that. It's 3 generations or 4 in my family of Penn State grads. But thank you again, and again, just to Greg Sparks, to Kirk, to all the members of the Lions Club for their initiative to get us on board. Thank you.
Great.
Well, thank you very
Thank you.
much. So it was great. Anyone else in the audience? I think we've had everyone who's in the audience almost. You don't want to make the news, you want to write the news? Okay. Seeing that, does any other member on council have any other business to come before us this meeting?
Nope.
Seeing nothing, this meeting is adjourned.